Hey there, Hoops fans. It's your boy, Jonathan Macri. I am battling whatever the hell is going on with my voice, but certainly was not planning on doing our first NBA Takedown emergency live stream here with my guys, Jeff and Shawn. But when the NBA is the NBA is not under investigation, but like it feels like the NBA is currently under investigation for what might be the biggest story of the NBA century. I don't know. We'll get into that in a bit. Shawn, let me go to you first. Your reaction when we'll summarize the news in a second, but your reaction this morning when you saw this drop.
I literally channeled my Vince Lombardi from NFL Films. What the hell is going on out here? That's literally what I thought. I was like, what is going on? Like, listen, we knew about the Terry Rozier stuff that had been hanging over our heads. Although it's funny, I thought that was gone by the wayside, but it turns out just the NBA said, yeah, we're good here. The Federal Bureau of Investigation had other ideas. But then when you start seeing, when I see Chauncey Billups, I'm like, wait a minute, hold on a second. Wait a minute. Of course, then you start thinking that they're connected. It seems that they're not connected, which John will get to in a second. But and now everyone is banging the drum about, oh, this is why sports gambling isn't good, and and people the pearl clutching and the high horse or whatever. But and I will get into that in a bit. But I was just like, what is going on? I don't understand.
Jeff, how much more do we need to find out for this to be like a top 5 NBA story of your lifetime? Or are we a ways away, or are we already there? I'm trying to decide that for myself right now.
It's got to be more people involved, and it's got to be stuff directly related to the game itself. If this is about poker in your crib with unsavory individuals, guess how many people in this country is going down?
Well, who else is at the crib though? Because
they saying it's Tommy Knuckles. They saying that, you know what I'm saying?
Vinny from Bay Ridge.
Joey 2 times. They calling out. They might be calling out names, but I mean, for me, John and Shawn, pardon me if I wait for more evidence. When I hear that the FBI is implicating people of color in illegal activity. That's what I will say. Let's wait for more evidence before Scary Terry. But I don't know what's going on with that. I don't know what's going on with what they. I know you'll get into like the details of it, John. But as far as the poker in the crib, there's a lot of ways we go with it. But among everything else, I would like to wait before we claim an arrest. Does not mean that you did something wrong. Mm-hmm. And I think, especially in this era of social media and court of public opinion and all this other stuff, we have to remember, let the facts play out. I mean, social media is going to get their jokes off. It's what everybody does. Like, it is what it is. But for real, when it comes to people's lives and stuff like that, just let's wait for more evidence before we're saying, this is actually going down.
So let's do a very quick recap. I understand people have probably seen a lot of this stuff on social media already, but the 2 arrests that were made were Terry Rozier, and there's been noise, obviously, about Rozier for some time now, in connection to maybe something along these lines. And then the big one is Chauncey Billups. It is unclear to me at this point in time, and I understand the FBI is going to be making a statement in a little bit, whether, because we know the Billups thing is connected to like poker, and there's a mafia thing there, which is just like, I mean, when's the last time we had an NBA figure directly connected, allegedly connected, Jeff, to the mafia?
I know.
It's been at who?
Well, it's
oh, Jeff lost it.
The guy whose name rhymes of Rim Fonagy.
Oh my God!
How'd the NBA come out of that one? By the way, I forgot.
You know how God rest his soul, the immortal David Stern, who
Nothing to
knew
see here.
everybody and everything
Oh my-
going on. You want to
Dude.
talk about ties? I don't know if he had mob ties, but he had enough ties where, and a lot of players have come out and spoke about this. I think, I think AI and Melo might have spoke about it before, where it felt like David Stern knew your homies. He knew everything going on. Same.
If David Stern was still here, there would not be enough cement or
Bro.
concrete around for how we do it. We put it in those little buckets. All right, just step 2 feet right in
Bro.
there. All right, this way to the East River. No, this is, I mean, it's crazy, the allegation. So we'll see what comes out of that. Terry Rozier is the one on ESPN. Greeny apparently reported that the arrest stems from a March 2023 game that Rozier allegedly took a bunch of unders and then left the game after 9 minutes, citing a foot injury. Damon Jones, former NBA player and current coach, I think he's a current coach, right? Damon Jones, he's also being allegedly was charged in an illegal gambling case. And like, who did I don't know if I missed anybody. And Malik Beasley, his name popped up. Our guy Pablo Torre, friend of the pod on Knicks Film School, reporting that like there's stuff going on there. It's just, it feels to me like this is going to get, if I'm going to pick right now, does this get bigger and more wide reaching, or does this get, is this a flame that's going to get put out in short order? I'm going to go with the former. This feels like it might be the start of something slightly bigger, in which case, again, it goes back to that conversation of just how big a story does this get? Shawn, what is your gut telling you at this point?
So I think there will be more names, but I think usually the FBI, they arrest the biggest name first.
Settle all family business.
Yeah. To the point where, so like, for example, someone in this group chat I'm in, so for example, a lot of Mavericks fans are hoping that Nico Harris is involved. I'm not making this up. And
yo,
okay,
that's what we gotta do. Top 5 list of NBA fan bases praying their GM, coach, owner. Again, going back to our discussion yesterday, Suns Kings. Which fan base between Suns fans and Kings fans right now is praying? Vivek Ranadive, please. I hope you put some wagers down.
And someone said, shout out to Chris Barnett. He was like, if Nico was involved, you'd have heard about that already, because that would have been the first name. So I don't think there's gonna be bigger names than this. But I do think there will be more arrests. How prominent those people are remains to be seen, but there will be more arrests.
I mean, you mentioned Gilbert Arenas was brought in for like a day. How long ago was that?
Well, he was arrested and he posted bail up the same day. And
we ain't heard anything about him since then.
Nope. And as someone who watched The Wire, when you get arrested and you leave the same day, allegedly you stretched out your vocal cords and did some singing.
Yeah, he sounded like I do when he left the FBI's offices that day. Yeah, man. I mean, this is just, it's crazy. I'm just trying to think if we're real. Like, again, it's early, and we're getting out ahead of this because it's such a big story. When the Billups one hit, I was like, okay, we're in it. I mean, it's an NBA head coach. Like, does he coach Portland's next game?
No. Now you may never see him on a sideline again.
Really? You think?
I was about to say, Shawn, that's a take.
I said you may, not that you definitely, but you may. Like, okay, there's no way he's gonna be there's no way he's gonna be on the sidelines coaching the game while it's hanging over his head. I just don't see it. Like, Gilbert going back to his podcast and talking shit is one thing, but to be an NBA head coach under possible federal indictment, no. He's gonna be suspended
Well,
or put on paid leave. Or
I was
whatever.
about to say this
but-
feels like a situation where the Blazers probably put out a statement in the interest of all parties involved. Chauncey Billups will be taking a temporary.
Yeah.
But then again, like Jeff, honestly, to what you were saying before about innocent until proven guilty, is that the right move to have him step away when there
For
hasn't been?
Well, if you don't want to have continuous questions from the media and from journalists that are going to be doing their job about these gambling every single game,
That's a good call.
then you suspend or he goes on leave until it gets less hot, right? Until the heat dies down. What I will say is, if let's say it's a situation where he gets arrested, the charges get cleared or whatever, I don't think he should have to, I don't think his job should be impaired. But I do understand, especially in a front-facing job, if you get arrested and there's serious allegations, especially when it's tied to gambling of any kind, right? Gambling of any kind, they're going to, because of the Jonte Porter situation, because of Terry Rozier, because of Malik Beasley, they have to err on the side of caution. So I can understand it. On the other side, there have been tons of other incidences that have happened in the league with players where after their legal stuff was cleared, they came back and they played and it was what it was. So but we have to see how that's going to apply to Chauncey as opposed to those situations.
Two things. Those are players. And I feel like when you're a coach and you're an authority figure and you have to hold the room at all times, if there's I wonder if there is a situation where he gets cleared and yet there is concern about putting him in that leadership position still. Obviously, we're not even close to being there yet. And the other part of it, and I'll just go back to it because as of now, we do not know, is like no one has come out and said he is definitely not involved in any kind of gambling on NBA games, unless I've missed that. It's being reported that it's poker, and it's being reported mafia, but no one, all that's being reported is that he did not gamble on games that he coached. That has come out. But not that he hasn't gambled on any games whatsoever. But like, man, I'm just like thinking off the top of my head, biggest NBA stories of my lifetime. And I'm not going back to, back in like there was gambling stuff that went on in like the 60s, 70s, a big investigation that torpedoed Connie Hawkins' career. Jeff, to your point, innocent about proven guilty. A guy who should be considered one of the 25 to 30 greatest NBA players of all time is a guy that a lot of people our age, like they don't even know his name, let alone younger fans, because he only got to the NBA when he was in whatever he was, his late 20s. But like I wrote down Donald Sterling, that whole thing, Miles at the Palace. Shout out to DJ Zulo, texted that to me this morning. MJ's retirement. And then like Kobe obviously passing, but that wasn't really an NBA story. That was, he was out of the league by that point. And then the whole Sixers thing from a few years ago with the burner accounts and like Colangelo, Brian, was that Brian or Brian Colangelo?
Yeah, Brian
lost his job. I mean, I think this has a chance to go above all of those again, depending on what else comes out and how far reaching this is. Are there any other ones I'm missing that should be in this conversation? Because that's where I'm at right now.
The COVID shutdown.
Oh, well, but again, that was
specifically remember Rudy Gobert is the one that quote unquote started the pandemic because he touched the microphone. To the next day it was because he was the first guy, and that
France, man.
Him testing positive for COVID is like started the domino effect. I think you nailed them all. Like the only other one I could think of is not really an NBA story was the OJ chase during the NBA finals.
And
it was but
Right.
yeah, but that wasn't an NBA thing. It was just simultaneous.
And you
Honorable
said it.
mention to police presence. The Clippers. Remember, they found the tunnel allegedly they found the tunnel to get into the locker room.
I'm trying to think. Well, you mentioned the Donahue one too.
Yes,
That's a massive one.
that's number 2 for me. Like, and to your point, the way that David Stern handled that, just acted like this is just a guy by himself, nothing to see here. Like, that was a masterclass in how he handled it. Also, I don't think he could have did it the same way today in an age of social media and the internet and everyone having a podcast and like look at us 3 clowns. We're up here already, right? So I think those are the biggest ones. I think you got them all.
Yeah, I think in terms of scandal, I may go Donald Sterling.
I mean,
that was like insane. Like so insane that they made series about it, that it was extensive, that there were a host of players who just dealt with it and thought about it as normal because they didn't want to mess up their bag and just dealt with it. And it spoke to a larger narrative about systemic racism and all of that going on, right? I think gambling has been so normalized that if players and coaches are involved, they're just going to ban them from the league and keep on going.
Yep.
Because they have national partners that are gambling sites and gambling companies. They're not going to dump those partners. They're not going to eliminate at the team level or at the league level any type of gambling initiatives. So you just get rid of the bad actors. I mean, hey, Shohei Ohtani is putting on one of the greatest postseasons of all time. You do not hear, save for jokes, that got his mans went down for it, and in the hands were washed. And that is the key in this. Somebody's going down, and we're gonna keep this party going.
I want to go down that road quick before we go, because you mentioned Donald Sterling, Clippers. The one thing we did not say yet, because it's still going on and didn't come to any of our minds right away, is the aspiration thing with Steve Ballmer and Kawhi Leonard.
Yes. Oh,
so here's what I'm wondering, and you talking about how in bed the league currently is, and all of the leagues, all the tentacles, everybody who covers the league, everybody. I mean, it's just it's as extensive as it could possibly be with, sports books. Like, you're right. There's too much money there for them to be like, all right, we're washing our hands of it. They're going to try to do exactly what you said. At the same time, you have the aspiration story out there, and now you have this story out there. You know what the inevitable question is going to be, which is, does the NBA have an unfixable PR problem? And I don't know the answer to that, because ultimately it comes down to a PR problem for who? What eyeballs? What wallets? What who are you losing because of your stuff? And I gotta say, in the age that we're in right now, this shit generates more interest in the league, not less. So I'm like thinking to myself, if I'm Adam Silver right now, yeah, there's a part of me that's shitting a brick, but there's another part of me that, if you actually think it through, it's like, all right, obviously it's not a great look, but is this going to hurt the wallets of my owners?
Mm-hmm.
And am I missing something? Because I feel like maybe I'm missing something and I just can't think of it right now.
I got something if you guys show.
No, go ahead.
Go ahead. Okay. There's no common through line in what you're mentioning right now, John. And it is interconnected systems that right now have single points of failure, that if that Jenga piece is pulled out, the entire system may collapse. And this is based off of accepted practices that are accepted behind closed doors, but they don't want it to be shed a light on in public, right? So what I'm getting at is, feel like such a narc. So, so
You said
yo,
it.
let's keep it real.
Keep it a
Keep it
buck.
real.
If wagering on things in behind closed doors was it was the true crime they're trying to make it out to be, boy, a lot of us would have to be on house arrest. That's first of all. Second, with that aspiration story, think about how many times folks make jokes about, well, you could come to this big market team, take a lower contract. They're going to get you all the endorsements. You're not going to have to pay for this. You're going to be comfortable in that city. You're going to have the world opened up to you. So it'll make up for whatever money that you lost without thinking about the implication of salary cap circumvention. Look at NIL in college. Now the money is legal.
Yes.
But we know for years, boosters had their hands in everything moving. Kids couldn't even take a sandwich on their campus without you losing your championship and forfeiting your wins for years. But these were accepted systems and behaviors that were off the books. And now, I think the bigger risk is if there is something more going on. If there is an actual culture of gambling or a culture of circumvention, and that is discovered, then this can become something far greater than what we could even imagine. But then to your point, John, is anybody really going to care? Is anybody really going to care?
Yeah,
Are the fans really going to care?
Yes.
Are the fans going to care?
Yes.
They will if the sanctity of the sport is in question. If fans start to think that I'm watching a game that is rigged in any way, shape, or form, and to go to the team building cap circumvention level, and this is where it ties into the gambling, if a fan of a team feels like my team can't get a fair shake because my owner doesn't have deep enough pockets, or I play in a city where guys don't want to come here, and it's not just about the money on the books, the money on the cap. It's about how much money my owner or whoever can put in my guy's pockets or that guy's pockets to make them want to come here. The sanctity of the sport has to remain. And as of right now, again, give or take, Terry Rozier coming out of a game after 9 minutes because he says he got hurt. And that's the thing. Like, even the Jonte Porter stuff, like, was there did that impact like the title race, or did that impact like whether the Raptors made the playoffs that season? I don't think it did. So we would have to get to that level. And we're both of your points, I think we're a long way away from that.
Yeah. The press conference going on now. FBI Director Kash Patel saying that they arrested 30 people today.
Ooh, Shawn, is there a knock at your door? I think I heard a knock at your door.
Also a lot of them are like mafia, a lot of probably mafia guys as well, but 30 names. To your thing, Jeff, I'll say this. There are two ways in which this can go belly up. To your point about the Jenga piece. One, to John's point, every sports exists because everyone knows that you have a quote unquote equal chance to win.
Yes.
And the second anyone believes that this is, listen, and the NBA's rig thing that's the longest storyline in the NBA forever.
But that's Donnie.
But like people sworn more than any other sport, people sworn the NBA is rigged.
What are you talking about? The frozen envelope?
Frozen envelope, Game 7, Lakers Kings.
Jordan always getting calls. Other stars always getting calls.
Yeah.
All right, fine.
So the second the masses think that this is not in the up and up, like you're finished as a league. So that matters. Number one. Number two, there has been since sports betting became legal in America, state by state. Now it's like 31 states, whatever. There has been a very loud backlash, whether it's from fans of sports or non-fans of sports, have been against it, to the point that like anytime anyone is implicated in anything involving gambling, it is given people an opportunity to say, see, this is why gambling's a problem, and this is why this is the third. And like to your point, Jeff, it's interesting. Like, guys beat up their significant others and play.
I
But
mean, you're speaking the truth.
but
Nasty.
you know, you pull yourself out of a game. I'm not condoning what terrorists.
No,
do
you're not
with a
saying
legend,
that. You're not
but,
trying
like,
to say that. But
yeah, it's like, but
yep.
those guys that they'll be put on the shelf. Colin Kaepernick don't play no more. You don't play no more. But meanwhile, again, there are guys that have done some very dastardly things, and we have moved past it. So, and I think, again, this will be treated. I'm curious to see how Adam Silver and the league affect this, because to your point, one, how does it affect the owners' dollars? That's what they care about the most. But number two, how do they, because the money's not going, the sponsorships aren't going away. They're not going to be like, I'm sorry, FanDuel, DraftKings, Fanatics, who have bet MGM, we can't work with you anymore. It'll be interesting to see how these sports leagues go forward with this, but there's definitely a possibility, like, the response is going to be swift and harsh because of pushing back from those people who are always pushing on them. And again, you have to have the sanctity of the game remain.
I don't want to go too far up this tree because nobody wants to hear me on my soapbox, but briefly, it is going to be interesting to that point, Shawn, how this is covered, because the people doing the covering are the same people in bed with the league whose dollars are on the line with what might happen or what might not happen. ESPN, what channel did we all watch the Knicks game on last night? ESPN.
ESPN, yes.
They are the worldwide leader in sports. It is their job to report on these stories. Now, there are Jesus. There are exceptional journalists out there, both that work for ESPN and that work for outlets like The Athletic and, the Times and other newspapers around here. So there will be good reporting done on this, but this speaks to a conversation I just had with Mike Vorkanoff, who writes for The Athletic, used to cover the Knicks. I was on his sports business podcast, and we were talking about how nowadays almost every journalist pretty much has to also be in the content creation game just to keep up with the Joneses. Because if you're not, then you're expendable, with very rare exceptions. I'm not even sure how many exceptions there are now. So when pretty much everybody out there, when all of their wallets align with the interests of the league, again, it's going to make it very interesting to see how this is discussed, unless ultimately the journalists basically decide what we just decided, which is that, listen, nobody's going to stop watching unless something truly, truly, truly ape shit comes out. And as of now, we have no evidence to believe that is going to come out. That's where I stand here.
Real quick.
Yeah.
Just saw a tweet. Let me pull this up real quick. Damn, I lost. Did I lose this? Hold on.
Who's it from? Because I remember
Tom Winter, Chauncey Billups, head coach of the Trailblazers, has been arrested in connection with an investigation into illegal gambling not related to games he coached, two senior law officials said. And I think that's something that you
to
said
games
before.
He coached.
Yeah.
To games he coached.
So this ring is not just poker that they're alleging. That's what we're getting. They're saying
we don't know.
Andrew Claudio, do not answer the phone. Do not answer the door, because Claudio Casino might be implicated in a federal investigation.
If a member of Knicks Film School is going down, it is the guy to my left on the screen. Show with a W. I have never met anyone in my life who engages in the dark arts like this man.
If I am the worst that you ever seen,
I don't know,
brother. You have seen nothing.
Listen, man, from the first conversation I ever had with you, it was about putting money down on something or another.
Yeah, I like to bet a few bucks.
You like to make it interesting. That's all.
Yes.
All right. We got to get out of here. I'm going on with Kevin O'Connor to talk about the Knicks actually in a few minutes. So that should be fun. Shawn, Jeff, last thoughts. Shawn, you go first.
Listen, like I said, we'll see where this goes. Again, this press conference is going on now. Apparently, there were fixed poker games and that's how evolving the mob. So the mob was working to fix poker games to defraud people of their money.
I
Listen,
mean,
I
who
saw this
amongst
on an
us?
episode of Power.
I was about to say, man.
So listen, I'm with Jeff. Let's let all the facts come out before we pass judgment.
I'm down with that. Jeff?
Wise man once said, hit with the repo, they repo your vehicle. Everything was all good just a week ago. About to start bitching, ain't you? Ray start snitching, ain't you? I forgive you, weak ass hustling, just ain't you. There are more names to drop. Just know somebody was talking. Somebody was singing. I'm talking about Beyonce, Whitney Houston level singing. The names may drop even sooner, but like I said, wait until you hear everything before you start implicating people. Yeah, that's what I would say. Let's get all the information before anything goes down.
I have zero doubt. Again, zero doubt that somebody snitched. Right? Zero.
30 names go down. I'm getting Goodfellas PTSD right
Listen,
now.
man, the scene at the end of the movie where they come in and they take it's just one by one, where taking Jimmy Conway out of his whatever that was, like the down the street from where the coats were, where he tried to send Karen in. I'm trying to think who else they went in, and Henry Hill's who's the guy who's making Sunday sauce. That they walked in and he was making Sunday sauce. I don't even know. Does Chauncey Billups make Sunday sauce? Maybe
You never.
Hey, that's why Frank Lucas burnt that fur. Threw that fur in the furnace, bro. You can't be. Listen.
This was great. Jeff, Shawn, thank you for hopping on right now. Listen, if you checked out this live stream and you're like, hey, these guys are actually pretty good talking about this crazy league that's about to get crazier. Do yourself a favor, do us a favor, follow NBA Takedown wherever you get your podcasts. We're on Apple, we're on Spotify. Obviously, check out the YouTube channel, subscribe to the YouTube channel, put it on alerts. I put this out on my Twitter today. I'll keep doing that, so you can obviously feel free to watch along there. Help support the show in any way you can. For anybody who may not know, we go live talking about this league that we love every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at noon. Got a great show coming up for you tomorrow. Be chatting with my guy, Fred Katz. I got an interview with Yaron Weissman, who just wrote a book about LeBron James and the Lakers. All kinds of great stuff coming up. On behalf of Jeff and Shawn, my name is Jonathan Macri, and it was a pleasure talking a little current NBA news with y'all on a Thursday morning? On a Thursday morning. We'll see y'all very soon. Peace out.